Sarah got the email on a Tuesday. Subject line, "Congratulations. A 12% raise. 6 years of work finally paying off." She did what anyone would do. She told her husband. They went out to celebrate. And then 8 months later she checked her bank account and found less money in it than the day she got the raise. Not more. This isn't a story about bad luck. It's not a story about an emergency or a medical bill or bad investments. It's a story about something that happens to millions of people who are, on paper, doing everything right, and almost nobody notices it happening to them until it's already too late. We'll come back to Sarah. Because what happened to her has a name, 100 years of research behind it, and a very specific psychological trigger that most people pull on themselves by accident every single week. Here's what actually happened. The month after the raise, Sarah and her husband upgraded their car. Not because the old one broke down, it still ran fine. Because a coworker had just leased something newer, and suddenly the old car felt embarrassing to park next to it in the office lot. If you want to see exactly how that decision quietly drains people for years, we broke down the real math on new cars in the video linked at the end of this one. Then came the bigger apartment. Then the dinners out because we can afford it now. Then a gym membership at the place their friends went to, which cost 3 times what their old gym did. None of these decisions on their own looked reckless. Each one felt small. Reasonable. But add them up and the raise was gone before it ever touched savings. Here's the part that should bother you. Sarah didn't do anything unusual. She did almost exactly what the data says most people do. In 1949, an economist named James Duesenberry sat down to explain something that didn't make sense. Classical economic theory said people should save a predictable share of any new income. Duesenberry looked at real households and found something stranger. Spending rose to match income almost every time, but when income dropped, spending barely fell at all. He called it the Ratchet Effect. Think of a ratchet wrench. It turns easily in one direction. It locks in the other. Human spending, Duesenberry found, works the same way. It's easy to move up. It's almost physically uncomfortable to move back down, because moving down doesn't just cost money, it costs status. That's the trap. Not the raise itself. The direction it only moves in. 5 years earlier, a psychologist named Leon Festinger had already found the mechanism driving that ratchet. Festinger's research showed something uncomfortable about how humans measure their own worth. In the absence of an objective yardstick, people don't measure themselves against where they used to be. They measure themselves against the people around them. Not against their past self. Against their neighbor. Their coworker. Their group chat. This is why a $70,000 salary can feel like failure in one zip code and feel like wealth in another. The number never changed. The comparison did. And here's the twist that makes it dangerous. The people we compare ourselves to most aren't strangers. They're coworkers we're competing with. Acquaintances we don't even particularly like. We are, quite literally, spending money we don't have, to impress people whose opinion, if we're honest, shouldn't matter to us at all. If this were simply about not having enough money, more money would solve it. It doesn't. Bank of America Institute and multiple national surveys, including a widely cited Harris poll, have independently found the same unsettling pattern. A significant share of 6-figure earners in the United States report living paycheck to paycheck. Not the poor. Not people without options. People who, on paper, made it. This isn't a coincidence across separate surveys. It's the Ratchet Effect at scale. And it isn't limited to office workers. Researchers from the National Bureau of Economic Research studied a group of people whose income spike is more extreme than almost anyone else's. NFL players. The finding should unsettle anyone who thinks, "I'll just fix this when I earn more." Nearly 1 in 6 former NFL players filed for bankruptcy within 12 years of retirement, and the researchers found something that broke the standard economic model completely. Bankruptcy rates had almost no relationship to how much a player earned, or how long his career lasted. Terrell Owens made an estimated $80 million across 15 seasons. He filed for bankruptcy in 2012. Playing longer didn't protect him. Earning more didn't protect him. The mechanism that got him wasn't a lack of income, it was the same ratchet that got Sarah, just with more zeros attached. There's a popular version of this story that claims 78% of NFL players go broke within a few years of retiring. That number isn't real. It traces back to an unverified 2009 claim that's been repeated so often it sounds like fact. The real, peer-reviewed number is smaller. And it's still shocking because it shouldn't be possible at all. So here's the uncomfortable question hiding underneath all of this. What if the raise was never the finish line? What if the raise is actually the moment of maximum danger, the exact point where the ratchet gets a new higher notch to lock onto? This is why the middle class trap isn't really about being middle class. It's about a mechanism that activates at every income level. The instant your spending is allowed to catch up to a comparison group instead of staying anchored to a decision you made on purpose. The people who escape it aren't the people who earn the most. They're the people who notice the ratchet and build something that stops it from turning automatically. Here's what actually breaks it based on everything above. The ratchet turns automatically because spending decisions get made in the moment, one at a time, each one feeling small and justified on its own. The only thing that reliably stops it is deciding in advance before the raise even lands, where the new money is going, before comparison has a chance to make the decision for you. That's the entire idea behind a money blueprint. Not a budget you fight with after the fact, but a plan you set before the ratchet gets a chance to click into a new notch. A fixed percentage of every raise, every bonus, every windfall assigned a job before it ever reaches your checking account. Savings, investing, debt payoff, decided once on a calm day instead of decided 50 small times under social pressure. It's not about spending less. It's about deciding before the comparison trap does the deciding for you. Sarah's raise didn't fail her. The moment did. The moment where a bigger number in her account met 100 small, reasonable-looking decisions, each one borrowed from a comparison she never consciously chose to make. The next time your income goes up, watch closely for the ratchet. It won't announce itself. It'll show up disguised as something you've earned, something normal, something everyone around you is already doing. The real trap was never spending more. It's spending more to impress people you don't even like, and calling it success. And if that idea shifted something for you today, this channel breaks down one of these quiet, innocent-looking money decisions every week, the kind that cost far more than they seem to. Following along just means you won't miss the next one. Since we just talked about the money blueprint as the way out of this trap, the natural next question is, how do you actually build one, step by step, with real numbers? That's exactly what the next video covers. If the race trap got you thinking, the next one shows you how to shut the door on it before it opens.